Hello everyone, this is Zooc, and today I'm going to be telling you exactly what's happening in Romania right now. I've been tweeting about this for a few days now, and some people are curious as to what exactly is going on. Well, there's something pretty major happening right now, something that will affect our future in a rather significant way, and I thought that it was rather important that I would explain to all my foreign subscribers that aren't aware of what exactly is happening or have been misinformed. Now, politics is definitely not a major part of this channel whatsoever. It hasn't been a part of my life until recently when, I've grown more and more disgruntled with the situation that we find ourselves in this country and have taken an interest in what's actually happening and all the problems that a wrong and corrupt government has caused for me personally and for my entire nation. So if you've been subscribed to me for a long time, you've probably heard me complain about Romania a lot, about a lot of thefts going on, a lot of irregularities in the law system, a lot of crazy bullshit, some that seems so ridiculous you wouldn't think that it was possible in this day and age. Well, it is. For the past 8 years, we've had this president that has lied to people incessantly, has proven to be nothing but a corrupt drunkard, not looking out for anyone's interest but his own, his family, and his political parties. That's it. What he's done, he's an ex-communist, right? Let's start from that point. I think that's rather important. Back when we were under communist regime, anyone who wanted to be involved in politics had to basically be a communist, because if you were something else, then you would get shot. That's how communism works. So this guy did a bunch of dirty, shady deals with jeans, cigarettes, a lot of contraband, etc., etc. Amounted about $1 million in cash. This was decades ago when $1 million was an immense amount of money. It was more money than our dictator had to his own name, like personal spending money. It was more. And this guy was a nobody. Our president was a former ship captain that basically sold the entire fleet underhand, illegally, and then before he could be charged for it, became the Romanian president. And so he gained immunity. So there's 2 felonies before I even start my story. For the past 8 years, he's ruined our economy, ruined our country, brought us down to such a level that we are worse off than like something like fucking Afghanistan at this point economically. Things might seem all fine and shiny and stuff on the surface, but I'm talking about the large majority of the population here who lives in misery. Salaries here are shit. Pensions are shit. We have the terrain to have any sort of agricultural activity we could ever want. We can make wine. We can grow wheat, corn, every type of cereal, every type of animal, almost every type of fruit except tropical. But with this weather, I'm actually starting to doubt that as well. It's fucking 40 degrees Celsius. So we have the power. We have oil. We have gold. We have everything we want. Precious metals, salt, all the resources almost. And yet we're still poor as fuck. Because basically what this guy did was sell all of our amenity companies, like, I don't know if amenity is the right word. Basically the guys that give you gas, electricity, water, all that. He privatized all of those to foreigners, French, German, etc., etc. So all the money that is made is not spent in Romania. That money goes to Germany, France, wherever the owner of the company is. We get the water, we pay him, and then he takes the money, pays his employees, but takes the rest of the money and spends it elsewhere in another country. So that doesn't benefit us at all. We don't export much of anything as far as I know. All we do, if you go into a typical store here, you will find chicken from Hungary, oranges from Cyprus, grapes from fuck only knows where, or tomatoes from Holland. So we basically have no local produce. We're not supporting local economy at all. When I lived in Sweden, you had like 2 brands of milk, I think, and that's it. And they were both local, both Swedish. No, here we buy German, we buy French, we buy Belgian, we buy every other fucking country except Romanian. We have them, but we don't really buy them because most of the time they're pretty bad, the produce. So for some reason, we're not making anything. But that's besides the point. The ministers he put in charge of our ministries of development, that's, in charge of developing basically new projects to help the economy and help the country. They stole so much money. They laundered so much money through privately owned phantom companies, I would say, basically giving out a contract for 200 kilometers of road to a company that had one employee. 2 years later, the company is at 0%, but he got a 30% advance payment or initial deposit. And 30% of, let's say, 100 million euros is quite a significant amount of money. So basically that money just disappeared. Company disappeared, nothing got done. Our esteemed former minister of development, paid some douchebags, I don't know how many hundred thousands of euros, to create a logo that's basically a leaf taken from one of those royalty websites that sell images for like $5, royalty free or some shit. So they got the image from there and charged her, I don't know how much it was, like $500,000. Not sure about numbers at this point, but it was a few $100,000. A logo I could have made on the toilet on a piece of toilet paper while taking a shit. She built gyms in villages that have 500 people and no electricity and no running water. She built Olympic swimming pools in villages with 600 people, no running water again. She built football fields on slopes, on mountain fucking slopes, like a football field like that. This all cost millions and millions of euros, and nobody can account for that at this point. Ministry of Transport. Our railroad is falling apart. Our national train company is basically in ruin right now. It's close to bankruptcy because no trains want to pass through here. We had, I think, I don't know who it was. I'm not sure. I think it was the French came with a project for one of those super TGV trains stretching all the way from France to, Turkey or something. And it would pass through our country. We said no to that. Go around us. Who needs that shit? We have no fast speed trains right now. Our trains go like 40, 50 miles an hour at most. In France, trains go to like 500 kilometers an hour or something, or 600. So we're fucked. We have nothing right now. So an opposing party came up, basically a union of two parties, that proceeded to actually manage eventually to demote or impeach the president. And they're in power right now. So our president is yelling that this is a coup d'etat, which is basically a forced takeover of a state, most of the time done via military, which is bullshit. It was democratic. They got chosen. So they've impeached the president, and to make sure that he's out of his fucking function, because so far people have protested on the street, he has not given a single fuck. Thousands of people were out on the street last winter in minus 20 degrees Celsius, protesting, wanting a better life, wanting decent salaries, wanting, just a normal lifestyle, wanting this country to be at a European level. From several points of view. He did not give a single fuck. Eventually the government fell, and the guy responsible for chopping salaries and pensions by 25% was removed from his function, and one member of the opposing party came in as a prime minister. And so our president and prime minister are from opposing parties right now, and they're at war with each other. But of course the president is also part of the European Parliament, so he's feeding all the Europeans, all the foreigners, bad information, which is why Germany is is frowning upon our opposing party's actions right now. Some foreign countries are actually calling it a coup d'etat, which is not the case. It's definitely not the case. This guy, the president, used millions of taxpayers' money to refurnish his two villas and one luxury apartment, which he gave to one of his daughters, which is a good-for-nothing skank. So he used millions of taxpayers' money to refurnish his villas, put swimming pools in, like tennis courts, bunch of shit, all the while cutting our salaries by 25%. these two were happening at the same time. Do you know what this would mean in Roman times? This would mean burn the motherfucker down, burn everything. But no, people are complacent here. They're like, we'll manage. It's fine. A handful of them, as I said, protested. A few thousand this winter. Ignored. Completely ignored. Quite the opposite. They called in the special forces to deal with them and basically beat a few of them into a coma. Broke their bones, broke their backs, broke their legs. That's how you deal with disgruntled citizens of the country you reign. Yeah. So the opposing party has organized a referendum, which is basically a vote, a democratic vote to demote this asshole from his function, which happened on Sunday, this Sunday. Now, the Constitutional Court, which handles the decisions of whether a law is constitutional or not, came up with the idea of having a quorum. And a quorum is basically, it's a minimum number of members that have to be present for a certain assembly or a certain action to be validated. So in this case, it was decided that the minimum number of people that have to vote is 50% plus 1 for the referendum to be validated. But this 50% of plus 1 was derived from a fictional number of citizens that this country has. So they said, like, okay, there are 18,400,000 people living in Romania and outside Romania. So 50% of these plus 1 have to be present, or 18,400,000. I don't know how much it was. In any case, a fictional number, because a lot of them are dead. A lot of them don't have ID cards. A lot of them are minors. A lot of them are gone or died abroad, and they're unaccounted for. So it happened, and apparently only 46% showed up. But out of those 46%, which was 8,600,000, something like that, 7.4 million people voted for the president's demotion or removal from function. So 7.5 million want this guy out of here. Less than 1 million voted in his favor. But what this guy did was, when he found out that there was a quorum imposed, he actually went out on the street and ordered his supporters to not show up for the vote. Who fucking does that in a democratic country? He told people, don't show up for the vote. Don't come to vote, so they don't validate the referendum. Because he knew he would lose. But he would never admit that. He claimed that this was a tactical move, that it's his right to opinion or some bullshit like that. But that is what's called a boycott. And when you boycott something as the president in a democratic situation, then you're kind of pretty screwed. But they can't prove it. They can't prove that people actually took his advice. Now, the Hungarian prime minister at the same time came over to Romania, because we have a large population of Hungarians here. They're a minority, but they are pretty significant. So he came over and told the Hungarians, don't vote. So he basically meddled in internal affairs just like that. No punishment for that whatsoever. Nothing. The fucking Hungarian prime minister, came to our country during a time of crisis when people are desperate, when people are protesting, we don't have money for shit. The country's going downhill. We are literally the garbage bag of Europe right now. People are coming here to dump their garbage. Not figuratively. Literally, people are coming here to dump their fucking garbage. So he came over in a time like that and told people, don't vote. Don't go to vote. You can imagine what kind of frustration this will cause upon anyone that even is as half as vehement as I am about this situation. I don't know if that's a word in English. I gotta look this up. Fucking shit. I'm like thinking in Romanian and translating in... Yeah, vehement is actually a word. Showing strong feeling, passionate or intense. So someone that's even half as vehement about this as I am would be infuriated by something like this. You can imagine how I felt. Couldn't sleep very well that night. So only 46% showed up. And now it's up to the Constitutional Court, which is largely under the president's influence, because he named a lot of those people in their functions. A lot of people that have never been a judge before. He named the ex-manager of a beer factory as the fucking president of the Constitutional Court. Him not being a judge, not having any experience in the judiciary. Judiciary? Is that a word? Yeah. The judicial system. So that's what happens. That's what's happening here. The Ministry of Development and the Ministry of Transport both got audited. It was found that hundreds of millions of euros were missing or had been paid to people that were at stage 0 on the projects that they had bid on. So hundreds of millions of money that we paid for, that my graphic design company gave to the state, is gone. Just like that. Never to be seen again. So this is what's happening right now. This regime, under this president, is exactly the reason why I went from making 40 grand a year to making zero. Zero. This is the reason why I almost ended up on the fucking street. There is no other reason. This is it. 100%. Anyone with a basic, the smallest understanding of economics would look at the laws that these guys came up with as completely in our disfavor at any level. Thousands of companies went bankrupt because of the laws that these guys imposed for the past years, including mine. I had zero profit. I am technically bankrupt right now. Thank God I work for Total Biscuit, else me and my family would be out on the street. So I do have a set of skills that I can use in a crisis situation, but it's not something that I was aiming for. I've been doing graphic design for 10 years, and I've never imagined that the economy would reach such a status where you would have zero profit, going from making a considerable amount of money every year, something that would basically qualify me as semi-rich in this country, going from that to null because of the economics that these assholes applied, or the principles that they applied to our economy, ruining us completely. So now, it's up to the Constitutional Court to decide whether the referendum is valid or not, directly affecting whether the president will still be in function or demoted 100%. But they were given a list of voters that was inaccurate when this whole deal started. They were given the list with 18 million and something. Well, actually, the National Institute of Statistics shows that there are actually 16 million people with the right to vote in this country and outside. 16 million, not 18 and a half. President was screaming about 22 million at some point. Something like that. People from our ex-prime minister, part of his party, was saying on TV, oh, the 7.5 million voted? Well, they can just get the fuck out then. That's what you say as a political representative of one of the major parties in Romania? 7.5 million voted? Oh, they can get the fuck out then. Yeah. Things are happening in this country that would shock anyone that lives in a semi-civilized country. They are absolutely unbelievable. Some of the things these people say, some of the things this president says are absolutely beyond ridiculous. Let alone the fact that he would, if not having political immunity, he would be a convict right now for his dealings with the Romanian fleet. We have no ships now because of this guy. He was in charge of it and he sold it illegally. This is the guy that's running our country. This is the guy that represents us outside. It's no wonder we're the fucking laughingstock of the entire continent and beyond. It's really no wonder when you got someone like this. You know what the worst deal is? The worst disappointment in this whole situation is the fact that there are a lot of people still supporting him. There are a lot of people out there that believe in what he says, and there's basically a division between the population right now that can eventually end up in civil war. There is a a genuine hatred between supporters of the president and supporters of the opposing party like myself. I hate people that think like him, that support him. I hate people that directly harm my life and my family. Because that's what they do, if you think about it. By supporting him, you are directly harming me. My best friend's girlfriend didn't go to vote, and she was proud of it. She was like, I don't want to vote. Fuck this bullshit. What? Why should I vote? They all suck. This is a peasant mentality. I told my best friend, if we're going out from now on, I don't want to see her present. I don't want to see her there. Because after saying that she didn't vote, she goes and complains like, oh, I don't have enough money to go on vacation. Well, I can't. I'm too poor to live in my own apartment. Oh, really? Okay. Nice reasoning there, fucking dumbass. How do people think that this country is going to get any better if they don't put their foot down and ask for what they're deserving? Just standing by, being lazy, stuffing your face with cheap fucking food and beer, and waiting for some sort of fucking miracle to happen. It's never going to happen. This was the chance that I waited for 5 years now. I've been trying to leave this country for the past half decade. Didn't work out. I'm still stuck here. But when I heard of this, I was there first thing in the morning, voted, took my mom, who can barely walk, went and voted, told all the friends that I could to go fucking vote. Because this was the one chance for the people to actually show what they want. And they did. 7.5 million of them. Half of the population does not want this guy here. And still, he still won't leave. He still won't resign. Any person with any sort of respect and self-respect would resign when finding out that 7.5 million people actually never want to see you again. Never want to see your smug fucking face on TV lying through your teeth to them. And he still wants to be our president. Still feeding lies to these ignorant fucktards. You know who supports him? Peasants. People that were given bribes during the campaigns. People that are paid to be there to support him. My driver who doesn't understand what world he's living in. People that have no self-respect, no national pride, no standards. Only those will support such a cause. Only those would choose to ignore empirical evidence that there has been more theft throughout these 8 years than there's ever been in our history. Hundreds of millions of euros that could have been used to improve our life, to actually make this country an attraction, we have a fucking delta, we have access to the sea. Nothing is being done, nothing. We're worse off than when we started. So this is what's happening in Romania right now. You can imagine how important this is. If he comes back to power, he's still going to be here for another 2.5 years. In 2.5 years, a lot can happen. He's making direct threats upon the people that basically demoted him, saying that they were initiators of a coup d'etat. Direct threats. Like, you'll see, you're gonna pay for this. On TV. Would Obama do that? Would any self-respecting president or representative of an entire fucking country anywhere in the world, would they do that on TV so nonchalantly that you'd think he was arguing with a peddler in the local market? I have never in my life witnessed such a lack of diplomacy and tact from a person than this guy has exhibited. And yet, Romanians support him. He's one of them. He's one of the really good peasants that can't articulate 3 words in a row without fucking it up. He's one of the good guys. He supports democracy. And yet he tells people at the same time, don't watch that TV station. He has like 5 TV stations that support him and only one which shows the truth, or at least most of it, who is against him. That's the most watched TV station in Romania statistically. Millions of people watch that TV show to hear something that isn't propaganda, something that isn't bullshit and lies, something that doesn't support him, because those millions of people want him out. And yet he tells people live on TV, don't watch this TV station. Don't do it. If that isn't fucking communism, then I don't know what is. And this was it. I'm not going to go into more detail in this because there's so much more to say. But right now, everyone's on the edge, waiting for a decision from the Constitutional Court and basically waiting to find out if they need to go out in the streets by the thousands. Hopefully this time it'll be millions, so maybe he will take them into account and not ignore the decisions of almost 10 million people. So yeah, this will be it. I want to thank people that took interest on Twitter, because I know Romanian politics is probably not one of my subscribers' prime concerns at the moment, but for me and for my country, it's one of the most important things, one of the more crucial decisions that has to be made in the past 20 years, if not the most crucial, because it's basically the end of corruption at this level, at least. There's always been going to be corruption, but never has there been so much as there is now. And this has to end if we're ever to live as normal people, to have a decent lifestyle in this country. Because as it is now, we are fucked. And we're going to be fucked even more later on if he takes power again. This was it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for having the patience if you went through this entire video, and I will see you for relevant content. Bye-bye.